Our next speaker is Judith Corley-Lay. Judy is the director of the National Center for Pavement Preservation.
True story about North Carolina back in the Great Depression. The counties could not afford to maintain the roads. And so a deal was struck that in exchange for the state taking over ownership of all the roads in North Carolina except municipal streets, the counties would donate the land where they had their county maintenance yards and whatever equipment they had. Now, that was probably a pretty good deal for 1929. Fast forward, though, 40, 50 years, it didn't begin to touch the cost of having this huge system. So it is true, North Carolina went nuts. I managed roads, and Dave Lohr was with us for a while as well. We actually designed everything from gravel roads to interstates. So it really is, if you want a change of pace, you just have to drive out to one of the rural counties and you can see it just as rural as you can stand. So the topic for this meeting, I was really pleased that the planning group for this meeting selected quality as the theme for the whole meeting. And so I'm not going to be doing the usual TSP2 update where I tell you how many people attended the Southeast and how many attended the Midwest. And all of that is sort of important and sort of fun to know if you're feeling kind of competitive, but it really doesn't tell you that much about what we're trying to accomplish. So this is about what is TSP2 doing about quality. And please note, we all have to work together if we're going to get it right. It takes more than a village, that's for sure. This is a true story, and I think it's really telling. I recently moderated a peer exchange in an unnamed state in a different region than this one, so everybody here is innocent. But if you read that story and it has a ring of truth to it, then the story will have some meaning even here. The topic at that peer exchange is why are we not getting good quality on all of our projects? The question was asked, who inspects the projects? Well, these are low budget contracts. They're, a little region of a county or a little region of a district or whatever. We hire a summer intern and they're the ones who inspect the projects. If you can relate to that story, then we all have work to do in the area of quality. And I do want to stress, we were all a summer intern or the equivalent low-paid underappreciated worker at some point, okay? You can't expect a kid to come out of college geotech engineering 101 and understand the details of calibrating a chip seal operation or a microsurfacing. That's the point, okay? It isn't a reflection on the summer intern at all. So let's talk about TSP2. TSP2 is the Technical Services Program for Transportation System Preservation. Each of your states pays into that it's a voluntary AASHTO contribution, and that's why it says it takes a partnership. All the states pool their funds to make this kind of sharing happen. So I'm going to give some examples of some things that really have highlighted quality in the last year. The Southeast Partnership is unusually fortunate to have Tim Horwood as one of our industry reps. He is a contractor with Vance Brothers, and he is my go-to person if I need a speaker at TRB on the issue of quality. So we had a demonstration at the Southeast meeting. Those are very difficult to put together. It's hard to get people to volunteer. It's hard to find a place to do them. Tim Harwood stood out in the 90+ degree heat and explained exactly how you do the calibration and what you should be looking for when you're seeing these processes go down. Shortly thereafter, Larry Schofield talked about concrete patching materials and some concrete preservation techniques. So we tried to have demonstrations from both industries. Excellent learning opportunity. There are always research presentations at the partnership meetings. They focus on when, where, how, and why we do preservation. And of course, you all have already heard the Federal Highway Administration talk about their Everyday Counts program. That's certainly been a resounding success. But before that, there was R26. That was the Preservation for Higher Volume Roadways project. MnRoad and NCAT are continuing the building now of the next round of test sections. So that work is continuing as well. There are discussions, panels, and state presentations. Your state presentations are coming up this afternoon. Industry will be making some presentations as well. I don't know about all of you. When I was with North Carolina DOT, I used to take very detailed notes of what other states were doing, what they were identifying as their problems, so that when I got back to the office, I could look at those notes and I knew exactly who to talk to come to some solution that could help me with my issues as well. We're going to have a panel coming up very shortly on meeting performance measures, on the new performance measures. And then just the whole process of putting together programs. How do you put together a meaningful preservation program? You're going to hear more about certification later. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here on it, but the TSP2 does have national certification in pavement preservation for chip seals, microsurfacing and slurry seals, and crack sealing. So those 3 topic areas are available for certification for both contractors and agency personnel. It's a 3-year certification. After 3 years, you have to retest, and right now there are almost 400 people on the database. If you ever are curious, you can just Google TSP2 and then look at the certification database, and you can find the names of the people. You can search by company, you can search by name. So it's very handy. It helps states know who is particularly qualified. And I've noticed contractors are starting to include their certification in their advertising. They want their clients to know that they're certified. John did a great job encouraging you to visit the exhibit space and the vendor participation. There was a lot of concern when the partnerships first got started about, interacting between the agencies and the vendors. Everyone who comes here, all of the vendors, know that this is not the place to ask questions about a contract or about an RFP or about work that you're anticipating. It is the place to talk about their products, what they can do, and what they see coming in the future. They also know that when you have a pavement failure, regardless of what the cause is, it can set back the program for 10 years, one failure. Everybody just in agencies they go, oh my gosh, we're never going to have that happen again. And the way to avoid having that happen again is, unfortunately, to not use the process. Very often, the cause of that failure was something to do either with the preparation or not actually enforcing specifications that were in place and available, including weather, temperature, and all the things that we include. So the vendors here also want you to be successful. They want successful projects. A very big part of my job is outreach. I think it's really, really important. I like it that John mentioned that the partnerships do send representatives from time to time to other partnership meetings to find out how things are different. You can learn a lot from listening to other agencies, from the consultants, the vendors, the local agencies. Everybody's got a story to tell, and there's something to learn. You can also learn from failures that others have experienced. You know, one of the things I always loved about the partnership meetings when I worked for North Carolina was that everybody came and was very open about what they had messed up. It wasn't like anybody was going to criticize you if, yeah, well, we tried to sneak this one in just before the end of the season and really shouldn't have pushed the limits, and it didn't work out. People were very upfront in confessing their sins in that area. So you can learn a lot from the experiences of others. TSP2 members are active nationally. You all may or may not know it, but some representatives go from TSP2 to the AASHTO Committee on Maintenance. Very interesting, very different dynamic than the partnerships. Active participants in the Federal Highway Administration Pavement Preservation Expert Task Group, and then many, or at least some of you, are members of my TRB Committee on Pavement Preservation. Others of you are members of the Pavement Maintenance Committee as well. So lots of opportunities. Some tools for you up there. Lots of things you can do. You can read it as well as I can. These meetings, I think, will be your primary tool, but as I said, Google TSP2, and you'll have a wealth of information, including a library that has a lot of technical information. Okay? Your partnership does have go-to meetings with the board of directors to plan these gatherings. They aren't closed meetings. If you want to attend, you just let the officers know, and I'm sure they'll be happy to include you. And then the national meetings, which come up every 4 or 5 years. There are specification links on our website. Again, Google TSP2 and then look under specifications. If your agency has revamped its website, the links will not work. And so please, if you notice that has happened in your agency, please send me the new link to your specification. I promise you, you have to have a trail of breadcrumbs to find specifications on state agency websites. So please send them along. That would be very helpful. And then you will get either in your packet or by email a contact list with the phone numbers and emails of everybody at this meeting. You can use those. They're very, very helpful. In conclusion, TSP2 is all about quality and helping states achieve the goals, reach their performance measures, and have successful projects. Thanks very much.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.